Hello and a very warm welcome to the channel. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you some phrases to use at your doctor's appointment. Now, as soon as you arrive for your doctor's appointment, the doctor will ask you to take a seat. And then he will ask you or say something like this: "Good morning, how can I help you?" Now, depending on what sickness you have, you may say something like, "I have difficulty breathing. I have a sore throat. I have nausea and vomiting. I have stomachache. I have fever and chills. I have toothache. I have chest pain. I have backache. I have flu. I have a cold. I have a swollen knee. I have a bad cough. I have diarrhea. I have fatigue. I have a rash. I have food poisoning. I have a bloated stomach. I have no appetite." Now, these are some of the expressions that you may use for your doctor's appointment. So what we have looked at is a list of different types of ailments or sicknesses that you may have. In the second section of our lesson, we are going to look at the meaning of these words and expressions. The first word is a sore throat. When you have a sore throat, it means that you have pain in your throat. When you swallow something, you feel pain. When you swallow saliva, you feel pain. Sometimes when you have a sore throat, your throat is very itchy and painful. In that case, you say, "Doctor, I have a sore throat." The next expression is nausea and vomiting. Now, when you have nausea, you constantly feel like you want to vomit or to throw up. When you eat some food, you can't keep it in your stomach. You have the urge to throw up. Now, vomiting is throwing up. And sometimes vomiting can be pretty painful because you have food from your stomach that basically wants to come out through your mouth. This is very common, especially with pregnant women in the early stages of their pregnancy. They have nausea and vomiting. The next illness is stomachache. When you have stomachache, you have pain in your belly. You have stomachache. Sometimes when you eat certain foods, you might get stomachache because you are allergic to those kind of foods. For example, when I drink milk, I get a stomachache. I have pain in my belly. The next one is fever and chills. When you have fever, you feel very, very hot. You sweat and you feel extremely uncomfortable. Now, the normal body temperature is 37. But when you have a fever, it means that your body temperature is higher than 37. So when you have a fever, you feel really hot and you sweat a lot. Now, when you have chills, it's the opposite. You feel really cold. You feel really cold even when the room is pretty warm. So when you have fever and chills, it means that sometimes you feel really hot and then immediately you feel really cold. The next one is toothache. When you have toothache, it simply means that you have pain in your tooth. The next one is chest pain. And chest pain simply means that you have pain inside your chest. Your chest is aching. The next one is backache, which simply means your back is painful. The next one is flu. Now, when you have flu, you have fever and you have chills and you have a sore throat and probably you also have a cold. When you have a cold, you have a running nose. Your nose is wet. The next one is a swollen knee. When you have a swollen knee, it simply means that your knee is painful and bigger than usual. It is swollen. The next one is a bad cough. When you have a bad cough, it means that you are constantly coughing and probably sneezing at the same time. Sometimes when you have a bad cough, you can't sleep because for some reason, coughing gets worse at night. You have a bad cough. You have a nasty cough. The next one is diarrhea. Now, when you have diarrhea, it means that when you eat food, it does not want to stay in your stomach, and instead you have to visit the toilet a lot to do your number 2. You have diarrhea. When you have diarrhea, sometimes we say you have a running stomach. The next word is fatigue. When you have fatigue, it means that you feel very, very tired all the time for no good reason. Even when you haven't done any hard work, you feel really tired. The next word is a rash. A rash is when you have some signs of discomfort on your skin. Your skin develops some bumps on it. And sometimes these bumps can become really red and very itchy. You want to scratch them all the time. That is what we call a rash. It happens on your skin. The next one is food poisoning. Now, food poisoning is when you feel like vomiting after eating food. When you eat food that is not hygienic, then you might get food poisoning. Like, for example, if you eat chicken that is not well cooked, you could get food poisoning. And when you have food poisoning, you get nausea and vomiting with it. The next one is a bloated stomach. When you have a bloated stomach, it means that your belly is swollen. You feel like there is a lot of gas and air in your stomach. Your stomach feels really big. And when you have a bloated stomach, sometimes your clothes don't fit anymore, especially your trousers. Your stomach feels huge. The next one is no appetite. When you have no appetite, it means that you don't feel like eating. Okay? You have no appetite. You don't feel like eating at all. Okay, and this brings us to the last part of our lesson, where I will pronounce the words for you once more. A sore throat, nausea and vomiting, stomach ache, fever and chills, toothache, chest pain, backache, flu, a cold, a swollen knee, a bad cough, diarrhea, fatigue, a rash, food poisoning, a bloated stomach, no appetite. Okay, now this brings us to the end of our lesson for today. If you enjoyed this lesson and you found the lesson useful, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much and see you next lesson. Bye bye.